Dr. Homer Bloomfield. He's from the Cancer Society of the Bahamas. Dr. Bloomfield is a graduate of the University of the West Indies Medical School class of 1981. He's the former president of the Bahamas chapter of the URIBA Private Practice OBG and GYN Physicians Nassau, Bahamas. He retired from the government service, Princess Margaret Hospital, in December 2011 after 31 years. He's a member of the Cancer Society of the Bahamas since 1986 and the former vice president and currently serving on the executive board of directors. He was instrumental in the family island screening programs for cervical and breast cancer, and he was the first volunteer physician, and he worked on many social and medical programs, family planning, teen pregnancy, HIV/AIDS, child abuse, and maternal and child health. Please help me to welcome Dr. Homer Bloomfield, who will speak to us about the Cancer Society of the Bahamas.
Good morning. It is indeed a pleasure to have been invited here, and I bring greetings on behalf of myself and the President of the Cancer Society, Mrs. LaBonne, who is here with us, to share with us just some of the needs and the requirements of cancer treatment, cervical cancer treatment. Now, I kind of wish that Dr. Chatnari had been asked to do this part of it because he did such a good job. And of course, I didn't get all of those introductions, so I guess Professor Hassel invited me because I look like him. Bald-headed. And if you look at your program, you realize I'm also wearing my HCC uniform. And I'm glad my wife is not in the room, because I realized I'm wearing the same outfit I had on in Jamaica when they took that picture of me. And of course, she quickly pointed out, I tell you, keep wearing the same clothes all the time. Anyhow, I wish I'd seen the program earlier because I could have made another change this morning. Anyhow, we're going to talk about cervical cancer treatment. And essentially, again, most of you've seen most of the stuff. My presentation will go very quickly because you've seen just about all the slides. Again, the cervix, preventable disease related to the HPV virus. The HPV virus is just another way of looking at it. And it's a very common sexually viral infection, often occur during the early years of sexual activity. And there are about, depending on who you talk to, it's about 130 strains of the virus have been identified. Now, there's a strong association between the lesion and the cervix and the HPV virus, and this is the cervical cancer. And often you can see this when you get the opportunity to examine some of these unfortunate women. Interesting facts, most women who have cervical cancer have never had a pap smear, which brings us to the point that the Caribbean or the Bahamas is a small representative of the Caribbean. We have several islands, and of course, the opportunities available in Nassau is not the same as in Cooked Island or in Abu. In other words, there's no clinics, appropriate clinic screening methods available. And of course, unfortunately, many of the women who present with cervical cancer have failed to follow up on the screening programs. In other words, many of them have not had a pap smear for more than 5 years. And we commonly ask patients, when was the last time you had a pap smear? And they'll respond very quickly, when I had my last child 19 years ago. Again, this is updated more than 500,000 cases worldwide every year, and more than 250,000 women die. And there's a bimodal age distribution with peaks in the 30s and the 60s. Early disease is asymptomatic, and this, unfortunately, is why some people don't show up until it's late. We have different types of cervical cancer. The common one is squamous cell adenocarcinoma, and there's mixed, and there's some other rare types. I won't burden you with this in the interest of time. This is what the healthy cervix typically looks like. And this is when you can see that there are changes taking place. Now, this is not cancer, but this is what we call inflammation. And of course, in a cervix like this is the ones that you probably want to investigate, because cancer could be hidden under this. And of course, this one definitely shows different actual pictures of cancerous lesions. In order to treat, you must diagnose. And of course, you heard about the pap smear, and of course, the old slide techniques, the pinprick base, and of course, now you can screen for the HPV DNA analysis, looking for the highest group. Or people present with symptoms. The often common one is vaginal bleeding, intermenstrual or postcoital. They often have a vaginal discharge. One of the reasons I tell a woman not to get cancer of the cervix is that smell you will never forget. I mean, when you get the disease, the typical scenario is we admit them to the hospital, you get visitors during the first week, and then the visitors wane. And during the second, third, fourth week, if you stay in the hospital, only your mom or the pastor come to see you. In other words, the smell drives people away. Associated also is the pelvic pain, backache, and of course they get painful intercourse. Now this slide is another way of showing the pap, and of course you can see the difference in the slide. And a pap smear sometimes can actually open the door to cervical cancer. And you can see this is what the normal cells look like. And again, you go around inflammation. These are the precancerous ones, and then of course cancer look completely different on a pap smear. But you're not going to use a pap smear to diagnose cancer. Now this is a more graphic picture. And I show women this because again, this is the scare. We've come a long way. We don't use those metal speculums anymore, so they're not cold anymore. We use the disposable plastic ones now. And they're different sizes that can accommodate easy examination. One problem that we have now is obesity is causing a tremendous amount of issue, where it's very, very difficult to visualize and properly examine a woman who weighs 250 pounds. This is what the cervix looks like in the process. You do the brush and the spatula, put it on the slide. And this is what the old technique the psychologists saw when they looked at the slide. Oops. Let me get back. Yeah. Let me use my own point. Yeah. This is what the old psychologists used to look at to make the diagnosis. Now with the newer test, the pinprick, it's a liquid bead, and you can see the difference. It's much easier to differentiate the cells. And of course, the diagnosis can be made from that. The pap report, the old system, at CIN1, you get normal, abnormal displays in CIN1. And when you get down to 23, that's sort of the precursor to early onset of cancer. And this is where you probably need to start to really start investigating treatment. The Newport system for psychology, again, different explanation. Again, you get down, you get the atypical cells, the low-grade cells, high-grade, and of course there's this one, AS, atypical cells that cannot include the high-grade lesions. And of course this one you must follow up. This is the one that some people get complacent on because they often confuse it with ascus. The precursor lesion, like I said, in treatment for CIN1, once it's identified, you get a biopsy report. You can remove the lesion simply by freezing it. You can colposcope, laser therapy, and those can remove both high and low lesion. And you can also excise the region on the surface using different techniques, a leaf biopsy, or you can use a cone biopsy. The confirmation definitely comes from the biopsy report, and you saw the punch biopsy done before. That's where the lesion is actually visible, it makes it easier for you to do that. But you can also do a colposcopically direct biopsy, where you stain the cervix and the ears that show up as abnormally biopsy. You also need to do a cervical curettage because you can get a lesion within it in the cervical canal. And of course, diagnostic cone biopsy can sometimes actually remove the disease. This is both diagnostic pap smear and forget about the rest of the patient. Patient may be diabetic, heart condition, and I saw a patient about 3 or 4 weeks ago in the hospital who fell down and supposedly had a fracture of her spine. Turned out she had metastatic lesion from cervical cancer to her spine, and that was the reason for this. So they completely ignored the fact, the smell. You walk in the room and you could tell that there's something going on. But she was brought in for surgery on her back. So you need to do a proper, full physical examination, and of course all of the appropriate investigation that will support the diagnosis of cervical cancer. These are just some of them. Colposcopy, which was mentioned already again, skip through most of these, looking at the lesion. They get to the biopsy, you can do the punch, you can do the cone or the leap. And of course, as I said earlier, cone biopsy can serve both as a diagnostic or a source of treatment for the early lesions on the surface. This is what it looks like. There's a portion taken on. Squamous cell carcinoma, again, is an important prognostic indicator. You need to know the stage of the disease. All right, because early stage disease can be treated effectively with almost 100% cure. And of course, once you get past the early stage disease, it spreads to the lymph node. You also need to look at the tumor size, the depth of stromal invasion, and also the invasion in vascular space, because that's when it spread outside the pelvis. And of course, these are the staging. I won't bore you with the detail. It's stage 0 for a lesion, basically at the surface, and you get stage 1, confined to the cervix, stage 2, going down into the vagina, and then of course stage 3, the lateral wall, going down the lower part of the vagina, and of course stage 4, it spreads outside. The staging also gives you some insight into the prognosis and the survival rate. Stage 1 again, more than 90%, almost 100% if the person is afforded the proper treatment. Stage 2, 75%. Stage 3, 40%. And stage 4, very poor, less than 15%. And I just put this in, this is a very busy slide, but just to show you that there's a whole stage of classification that's done. All right, so stage 0, this is again graphically what it looks like. Again, this is stage 1 where it's confined to the cervix. And of course, we go into looking at the size of the tumor itself, and of course the depth of the tumor, stage 1. Stage 2, you can see it's gone outside of the cervix, and you can see it's going down the vagina, this side, as against going into the lateral wall, or the parametrial space. Stage 3 again, lower part of the vagina, they are going to the lateral wall, almost to the pelvic sidewall. And stage 4 is when it goes outside into the bladder, the rectum, etc. The stages again, treated effectively with precancerous lesion, and again you can use cryosurgery, laser surgery, or you can use a cone biopsy. Once you get past the early stages, simple hysterectomy may serve for early disease, and the regular gynecologist can certainly perform this. You need a gynecological oncologist because the surgery becomes a lot more complex. You need a radical hysterectomy, including pelvic lymphadenopathy with or without chemoradiation. For more advanced disease, chemoradiation, of course this can sometimes be combined, use this before you do the surgery. And of course in advanced stages, stage 4, the combined chemotherapy is probably the only thing, and it's basically palliative. As I mentioned before, surgery, stage 1, early stage 2 disease, radical hysterectomy. And of course, you can still spare the function of the ovaries by leaving them behind. And of course, sometimes the radiation, pelvic radiation can sometimes cause problems with this, or if you use chemotherapy. Long ago, we used to use this long incision. And of course, if you didn't have a long incision like this, it suggested that you probably didn't do a proper job of examining the entire abdomen. Now you can combine this with laparoscopic work, and radical hysterectomies can be done through the laparoscope now. This basically is what is done in a radical hysterectomy. The uterus, cervix, the parametrium, and the upper part of the vagina is removed. And again, you can see the number of lymph nodes. Now these are not sitting on the surface. They're buried, so you got to go and find them. And of course, that's where you get the surgery becomes very complex. Radiation therapy, again, for more advanced disease, sometimes combined with surgery. And of course, some of the problems related to radiation mentioned stenosis of the vagina, cystitis, you get bladder dysfunction and fibrosis. And of course, there's a combination of radiation and chemotherapy. And the treatment, radiation therapy, you can put it inside the uterus or externally. These are the different types. Of course, need expensive equipment, chemotherapy, again. These are some of the impact, but I'm going to finish up right now. There's a new, recently devised procedure, the radical tracheolectomy, which you can excise the cervix so that the woman may still be able to reproduce. Of course, this is very technical, not easily performed, need very skilled gynecological surgeons with equipment. Again, rarely in pregnancy, this may be a cause, often dependent on the gestational age of the fetus. Again, you can sometimes delay the treatment for up to 6 to 8 weeks, depending on the stage of the disease. But again, it's very important to have frank discussion with the patient and the supporting family. You'll hear about the vaccine, so we want to talk about that. Prevention, women shouldn't die because of it, you need a pap smear. Individual burden, quality of life is of essence because it certainly changes. And these are just some of the persons that are needed. And again, this is probably why some of the less developed countries don't have the problem. This is just a cost, and this probably reflects more the Bahamas than the rest of the Caribbean. You can see it get very expensive once you get past the first phase. So in summary, early detection leads to effective treatment, better outcome. Recommend annual physical and pap smears. Awareness, knowledge, information is key. And of course, access to treatment and effective management will follow. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Homer Bloomfield, who spoke about cancer, some data from the Bahamas, but in general. Any questions for Dr. Bloomfield?
Hi, Dr. Bloomfield. I was wondering if you could go back to your slide on quality of life of cancer survivors. I think that's an important component that we'd like you to just elaborate on.
Yeah. As was mentioned.
Quality of life.
Yeah.
This one.
Yes.
Is important.
Yes, this is important. I think it's important to have, whenever you're going to treat somebody with cervical cancer, to let them have a clear indication of what life is like after the treatment. Now, there's considerable hope for patients if they get the treatment early. If you're in stage 4, you probably have to start making preparation for dying. That's it, that's a fact. But there's a woman who we treated in the Bahamas about 18 years ago. And in those days, we sent them to mine because we didn't have our radiation sent to them. She got treated 3 husbands later. She's still alive and well. She married 3 times since she had the treatment. So there's treatment. But there's the real issues. The sexual discomfort, vaginal dryness, and of course the stigma attached to the fact that you have cervical cancer. Because again, this is something that you probably will have to share with your partner. The other impact of this also is the partner now is probably infected with that virus, that strain of the virus. So I always tell my patients, if you marry somebody new, find out what his ex-wife or his former wife died from. Because they may be, the Evita story from Argentina is probably a classic. In the movie they say that his 3 wives died from uterine cancer. It's probably cervical cancer. So it's something to look at again. All right? But quality of life started to change. And of course, with any cancer, can you afford the treatment? Do we have access to the treatment? Follow. Some of our patients, and again, the reason why data is often lacking is that there's lack of confidence in the crew or the personnel that we have in NASA. So a lot of people, when any cancer, they get on the plane and they go to Miami. So that data we'll never get. I'm sure in the islands here, they probably get on a plane and go to Barbados or they go to Trinidad or somewhere else where they figure, where they sometimes don't want anybody to know. And so that's part of the reality. So quality of life certainly changes.
Thank you. That was great.
example, we are talking about quality of life, but I firmly believe that we provide quality of care for the patient at community level, because we normally as professional, how do you evaluate, how do you measure your level of quality of care for the patient? But we don't ask how patients receive those services as primary health care. I think this is a great opportunity for us to think about, to listen more of the voices and then from the patient side. And the NGO, particularly cancer NGO, the excellent group of people who can provide more psychological and mental support for patients suffering from the cancer. And this can be also extended to chronic disease also. So I think this is a very good opportunity for us to add really value.
I think we'd love to invite you to the Bahamas, because we have started some programs, and Mrs. Williams will probably elaborate a little bit more on that during our discussions. We have a center, a cancer care center, because one of the problems we had was people coming from the family islands to Nassau for treatment didn't have any place to stay. And the stay sometimes would last up to 6 weeks. So the Cancer Society have a building where we can accommodate 20 patients at a time. And it's basically free. If you can afford to pay, then you charge $50 a day. But if you don't have the money, we let you stay. We're also getting people now from other Caribbean islands who are coming, because we also have a radiation center as well. So we're opening the door to service and treatment for the Caribbean. But we still don't have a national program that's looking after cervical cancer in the Bahamas.
Thank you very much. I want to say what a timely occasion it is to have this workshop, especially for, I'm not telling you what I'm saying for me, yesterday I got a call. My patient was recently admitted in the hospital for chemotherapy as part of her. I'm not a medical person, and I may not be able to use the medical channel, but she went into hospital for another bout of chemotherapy, part of her cervical cancer treatment, and she was doing very well. And right away they wanted me to know. And I called my oncologist, and because we have a very, very good relationship, and I said, please look over my Linda. She's in the hospital now and so on. But I say that to refer to something that you mentioned earlier, that there are times when there is another issue, a health issue, that is not attended to. In the course of speaking to Dr. Maarten, he said to me, her tonsillitis would not probably be because of the chemo treatment that she underwent about 3 weeks ago. But she had this tonsillitis and she has very strong fever. But nobody attended to the tonsil, nobody paid attention to that. And so it happened that this is bearing on her case now, and her family very, 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 very concerned, and everybody's up and wondering what is going to happen to her. Is she dying? We spoke of treatment, and I want to say that that is an issue for us too. I was looking all through the program to see at which point we were discussing treatment, and I didn't see treatment, care of cancer patients in terms of providing treatment. We have that very, very serious problem of when we send our patients, how do we get attention for them?
Because again, it's terribly important, because again, if your patient has a possible infection, then chemotherapy is only going to weaken the immune system. So you may affect the cervical cancer to some extent, but then she'd probably die from a lung infection or something like that. So it's very, very important. And we often get these things are overlooked. People get referred for treatment for cancer, and not just cervical cancer, without getting a proper examination. And then of course when they come, you discover all of these things: uncontrolled hypertension, uncontrolled diabetes, history of HIV positive, which is another discussion all unto itself. All right, so these are things that need to be recognized. Again, simply, is the patient pregnant? Because then you have to discuss the possibility of terminating the pregnancy, religious right, the rules and regulations governing your country, etc., etc. So it's very important that a comprehensive history and examination is done in concert with the investigation of whatever cancer may be going on. Thank you.